Okay, so first of all, Mazal Tov to Ari, who is finishing today Seder Nashim. It's a major chashuv thing. So Lichvod Siyum Seder Nashim, we are doing a Texas style Mishmar night, shiur with beans and roast meat and this is good stuff. So we're also at the end of the year, and we are at Parashat Tavo. And there are two main subject or topics in this parasha that really are the center, the focal point of the parasha. The first one is mitzvat bikurim, and the second one is the parasha of brachot and klalot. We are probably going to go way into Arvit because it's long. So those who come only for the Gemara Shiur today will have to watch us finish eating and yeah. Anyway, so from the beginning of Sefer Dvarim, we can already find hints who prepare us and escort us towards which is the most crucial day of the year to us, which is Rosh Hashanah, Yom Hadin, the Day of Judgment. From the very beginning of Sefer Dvarim, and maybe even beforehand. Rosh Hashanah is a day in which within minutes, splits of a second, sometimes it could last over 2 days, depends on where you are. But basically, the reality for the next year is being established. How your next year is going to be is being determined during those days. And this week's parasha, those hints that we will be having all through Sefer Dvarim, becoming a very, very well-defined itinerary of how to get to how to get to this day. And it's the cheshbon nefesh and outlooking towards the day which will come in the pasuk ulakachta mereshit kol pri haadama asher tavi me'aretzecha asher Hashem Elokecha noten lecha v'samta batene v'halachta el hamakom asher yivchar Hashem Elokecha leshaken shemo sham. And you take from the beginning kol pri haadama, any kind of produce. Of course, we're talking about bikurim here. And you're going to put it in the basket and going to take it to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, the one and only undivided eternal capital of the Jewish people, not of the state of Israel, of the Jewish people. So it is. So let's look first of all at this pshat of the mitzvah. And it's very important that we'll understand what exactly was involved within this mitzvah and how exactly the people used to fulfill it. Because today we don't have it. And you should know there was a tremendous preparation in a very glorified way. The preparation was to that. From the very beginning, when a person sees, for example, the first fig that's coming out, the first fruit that's coming out, they would take a red ribbon and they would tie it around it, and they would say, "This one is bikurim." And then they will make a journey from all over the country. They will make a journey to Beit HaMikdash and to Yerushalayim until the point where the person stands in Beit HaMikdash in front of the Kohen and he hands over the Bikurim. And unfortunately, throughout the whole entire Galut that we had, this experience has been gone, and we haven't been practicing that. In Israel, the Zionists tried to re-establish Bikurim, but unfortunately they would make it into a whole parade on Chag HaShavuot with tractors and all that. It was a violation for that. But that doesn't really go. There's not understanding what it is because there is no substitute for Beit HaMikdash, for the temple, on the Temple Mount. So the Rambam brings us the process of bringing the Bikurim, and he says the following, and I'm quoting, Mitkansim Hashem ma'amad sheba'ayarot imahem, people, important people in the cloud, people all together with the people who are making the pilgrimage, kedei shelo ya'alu yechidim, in order for them not to go alone to the Temple Mount, shene'emar, because it says, berov am hadrat melech, the more the merrier, right? And they used to sleep in the streets, and in the dawn, the head of the convoy, the MC, would get up and say, "Skuma v'na'ale Etzion el Hashem Elokeinu." Get up and let's go to Yerushalayim, to the house of God. And they would take the ox of the shlamim that they will go before him, and the ox's horn used to be covered with gold, and they would make a crown of olive branches on the head of it. V'chalil makel lifnehem, and there was a flute here for Yitzchak, not only as a Kohen, also Native American flute and other instruments. And until they come near to Yerushalayim, קרוב לירושלים, שם שלחו לפניהם שלוחים להודיע לאנשי ירושלים. They would send messengers from the group, from the convoy to the people of Yerushalayim. והיו יוצאים לקראתם, and the people of Jerusalem used to come and welcome them. אם באו אנשים הרבה, יוצאים לקראתם רבים, ואם מעט מעט. And depends on the amount of people arriving to the pilgrimage. That's how amount of people would to come from the city. וכשנכנסו לירושלים, when they entered Jerusalem, היו עומדים כולם בפניהם ושואלים בשלומם. Everybody would stand in front of them, say, "Oh, how you doing? Right? How y'all doing? Que paso?" Whatever it is, they would greet them. And הכל היה מלווה בשיר והלל עד הגיעם לבית המקדש. And everything was with tremendous. He gives some to Elon. Elon didn't have. Elon, take some meat. So everything was with the instruments and music and musical instruments until they came to Beit HaMikdash. So from Mitzvat HaBikurim, we could really learn how important is your preparation for Rosh Hashanah. There is a story from the time of Beit HaMikdash about the Talmid Chacham Echad. It was an old man, Talmid Chacham, who used to sit down and learn Torah all day long. Kol hazman. And he lived in Jericho. Jericho, by the way, it was, for those who forgot, also used to belong to the Jewish nation, and today we gave it to the Arabs. However, yes, and he lived in Jericho, and it was really a waste of time for him to go to do Bitul Torah, to go to Yerushalayim. So he used to sit there, and he used to send his kids, his sons, to go instead of him to go to Yerushalayim. And this is how he did for years and years. And the kids always came back and they told him how amazing is the journey and how awe-inspiring is being Beit HaMikdash, and you feel your spirit elevating and so on and so forth. And by the way, you could see that, you would see, that many of these things that really had to do with us, or I'm sure you heard those stories many times before from people who said that. You go to the kotel, you feel this, you go to this, you feel that, and so on and so forth. So one day he decided to say, you know what, I'm going to Yerushalayim myself. Next time for the Bikurim, he left his kids and he went to Yerushalayim alone. Now he didn't know the way to Yerushalayim because he sat down and learned all day long. So he said to people, excuse me, how do I go to Yerushalayim? So people look at him and say, Zaken shekamocha, you old viejo, you old man. Why you don't know Yerushalayim? Tar! Smack him. Right? Mazeh, a guy like you doesn't know where Yerushalayim is. Mazeh. So he said, the people are going. He said, okay, decided to follow them. So he decides to follow them, and every time he asks, people get angry at him. How could it be that a person like you doesn't know where Yerushalayim is? How do I know? You don't know where the way to the Mikdash is, and so on and so forth. And when he got to Beit HaMikdash, it's the same story. He says, excuse me, where's Beit HaMikdash? And now he got whacked. So when he finally entered the Beit HaMikdash, he asked the Kohen, he says, excuse me, where's Beit HaMikdash? Are we in Beit HaMikdash? So the Kohen said to him, you fool! You are already in Beit HaMikdash and you don't feel the Kedusha here? How many times you heard people saying, I went to Israel, I went to Yerushalayim, I don't know, I didn't feel anything there. I went to the Kotel, I didn't feel anything there. The problem is not with the place, the problem is with you. So, the parasha is telling us, "Ve'aya ki tavo el haaretz ta'aseh bikurim." When you will come to the land, you should bring bikurim. You should prepare the fruit. You should prepare the basket. You should prepare yourself to the journey. And then when you come to the kohen, you're going to feel the whole occasion by yourself. The preparation, that's what does it. Like any other thing that you prepare into. If you're going to go to a girl and says, "Oh, honey, I like you, you like me, I'm Terence and you Jane, let's get married." She says, "Okay, let's go get married." That's it. And then you're going to say, "Oh, my wedding was like," well, the more you prepare for the wedding, I didn't say the more you spend. The more you prepare, the more you build up the excitement inside of you for the event. So that's what the Torah is telling us, and so is the same thing when we are making the preparation for Rosh Hashanah. When you prepare for Rosh Hashanah, that will be the same thing. A Jew comes before Rosh Hashanah and he does cheshbon nefesh. He's preparing himself for this great and important and awesome moment to stand in front of Borei Olam, right? So if he doesn't prepare himself appropriately, how could he feel and how would he understand the capacity of the moment? He won't. For him, it's going to be another tefillah, another gathering. You know, people coming along to shul, and we made a small shiur on that about preparing for Rosh Hashanah, and I think you should watch it again because you understand exactly what's going on here. So people getting together, we're coming together. It's like a big sing-along. Right, everybody, there's a guy there, they bring a guy from Israel, he sings along. Hey, everybody, there's the yof. You know, if I want to sing along, I'm going to go to the opera. I'm not going to come to shul. I'm coming to shul to pray. I need to prepare myself. And when you sit on the meal, it's not going to be more than just another meal, nice food, and so on and so forth. There's no meaning in what it is. And the problem that we feel is, there's no meaning in what I do, is because we don't prepare ourselves appropriately. And that is something that we all need to really, really think about, you know, when we feel like that. It means that we haven't done the appropriate. Shalom Aleichem, Avner. Good thing you didn't come late. Imagine if you will come on time. You actually have some meat. They polished out the meat, but there is some sausage here for you. Right? So that's why we need to awaken, and we need to feel the kedusha, not only of Rosh Hashanah, of those days, because the moment of truth, when it comes, it goes like this, keherefine, chick-chack. It goes, and we miss it. So Rosh Chodesh Elul, we started to look at, prepare to Rosh Hashanah, to awaken the heart, to be able to enter with a pure heart to Rosh Hashanah, in order for us to be able to be metaken, whatever needs to be metaken, whatever we need to fix. Parashat Ki Tavo nikret Parashat Tochecha. Why? Because of the klalot that there is in the parasha. What you put the heat or the AC over, like 75? I feel like I'm in a sauna.
Yeah. 68. Thank you.
68. I'm almost 69. All right. Maybe the fan. There's no fan there. Anyway, so and we read this parasha almost every year before Rosh Hashanah, and the Tochecha comes to awaken the person, because you really need a great awakening for Rosh Hashanah itself, and it's a very good time that a person should really see what he has and what he doesn't have. In other words, you need to make a spiritual inventory and also a physical inventory of what you have done or what you didn't done, what mitzvot you have and what averot you have. However, you also need to know what you have to thank for. There's everything that we have. Now you have to understand that if we there's this tendency for a person, when most people, when they do cheshbon nefesh, when they sit down with themselves and take an account for they really see everything bad. They only see the weak things and the bad things that they had done, and so on and so forth. And that might put you in a place of despair and say, "Listen, there's no hope for me. I'm finished." Right? That's why the parasha tells us there's two things. Tells us the chesronot, right? And we also need, in other words, when there's no fruit, if you do this, and so on and so forth. And also to see that, to remember when we look at the cup, that there's also a full cup, half a full cup, not only a half an empty cup. And by doing so, we will be able to thank Hashem for what He gave us and what we have. And most of us have things to thank, well, a lot of things to thank of, that Hashem gave us and sent us in our way, if we want to acknowledge it, don't want to acknowledge it. That's the reality, that's the truth. Without a pound, a lot of us have a lot of pounds to thank for, but we never look at this. We never see like the bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us. A person has kids and grandkids, or is, even if you bought something, Baruch Hashem, you had the money and the ability to buy something. You have a wife, you got a mother-in-law for free, you got to pay for it, but never mind, chesronot, and we always said that, right? And there's also a preparation for Rosh Hashanah, and that preparation needs to be in a very balanced way. The koach of the bikurim, the issue of the bikurim is the koach of Rashit, of the beginning. Now, that somewhere along the line I'm going to put Torah inside, but so just prepare yourself. Because it says, Mireshit kol pri ha'adama. Everything goes according to the beginning. According to the way you started. If you start with your wife on the first week of marriage, you start on the wrong way, that's how it's going to be. Everything is determined on the beginning. And all the produce also depends on the beginning, and so is for us in Rosh Hashanah. Everything goes after the beginning. In other words, it all depends how you're going to behave on Rosh Hashanah. How you're going to pray on Rosh Hashanah. And I'm really sorry to say that not everywhere, we get the opportunity to pray with such an attitude in mind. We don't. And we need to really think carefully, where do we go to pray? I thought it was funny what I put in the Yeshiva group, that about the thing. I thought it was funny. However, it's really a reality. If you look at this like this, But so pay very close attention to where do you pray, who do you pray with in Rosh Hashanah, to be able to give yourself a chance throughout the year to be able to carry on the koach of the tefillah that you put in Rosh Hashanah to the rest of the year. It's not a festival, Rabotai. It's not a country club gathering or anything else like that. It's not a social gathering. It's not a kumbaya and a kumzitz. It's praying to Hashem and Yom Adin. So, if you're going to daven with Kavanah Rosh Hashanah, that's going to elevate the whole entire tefillot that you have. In other words, the Reshit, the beginning, includes the tikkun of everything. Rosh Hashanah fixes everything. That's why you have to do so besimcha. You have to do so with joy. Sit down and eat something. It's going to be long. I don't know if we're going to learn Gemara today, but it's going to be long. And we see in the Parashat that simcha is really the key of all. Because it says in the klalot, in the curses, תחת אשר לא עבדת את השם אלוקיך בשמחה ובטוב לבב מרוב כל. You had too much. And therefore, since you had too much, you weren't happy with what you had. And the fact that you weren't happy with what you have, you couldn't do avodat Hashem besimcha. You had to do it. Let me get rid of this. So maybe you shouldn't have so much. You have to really understand what it means. It means that you could be a person who is makpid kala b'chamura, who has a super duper tefillin, and so on and so forth. However, you do so because you feel you have to, not because you see an opportunity. I cannot wait to put tefillin on. You're missing one component. There is the body of the mitzvah, which is the action, and there is the in order for the mitzvah to become a chayut, an entity, you need to put the neshama inside, and the neshama is simcha. The same thing when a baby is born, everybody is happy. When you do a mitzvah, you should be happy. Any mitzvah. Any mitzvah. So you have too much, you're not happy. Get rid of it. I know. Why do you go to shul? The people, the neighbors will look. That's what I'm doing this. Even if you don't, when you don't have simcha, all the curse will come to you because of that. It's a mind-boggling concept. It's a moira de kavort, right, Rebs? It's amazing. תחת אשר לא עבדת את השם אלוקיך בשמחה ובטוב לבב מרוב כל. A person could fix everything by simcha. If you are happy and you have joy, it shows that you're really Oved Hashem. A person who is not happy in the fact that he is alive and HaKadosh Baruch Hu given an opportunity and he does the mitzvot b'simcha, it shows a lacking in his avodat Hashem. He's not an Eved Hashem. Why? Why, Rebs? You tell me. Bikudei Hashem yesharim mesamchei lev. The commands of Hashem are just, and they are rejoicing the person. So if you're doing the mitzvot without simcha, there's something wrong with it. And a part of our preparation to Rosh Hashanah is really to see how much are we really happy with what we have. In other words, you driving a beat up car with holes in it, you can put a fist inside. Baruch Hashem! But it's better. You want to go on a bus in this weather, like 97 degrees with 200% humidity? Well, go ahead. You have a car. You're happy. Baruch Hashem, I'm happy. I have a car. Whatever you have shirts to wear. You know what it is to have two shirts? You ever live your life with two shirts? Why don't you try it? I mean, have mercy on the people around you. But you know what it is to have two shirts? Why two shirts? One for the week, one for Shabbat. מה אתם חושבים? תראה איזה יופי יש לנו. Look at the סעודה, ברוך השם, משתבח שמו. That's why when you make a bracha, אתה אומר ברכה בכוונה גדולה. And then you make bracha אחרונה, ברכת המזון, because you're happy. הקדוש ברוך הוא loves me. He loves me. He gave me. This is an amazing thing. And this is what the parasha is giving us, is an ability to check our conscience, our awareness, and with that the chibur, the connection that we have with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And we know that all the mezonot of a person, everything that you need to eat and so on and so forth is being determined from Rosh Hashanah to Sukkot. So the Chazal tells us that a person needs to daven on his mezonot b'chol Hashanah. Right? But he needs to know that whatever is given to him is already determined. Katsuv is already given to him. You need to pray for it throughout the year. But whatever you get, you're going to get. You're not going to get more than what was given to you. You just need to make sure to get it. But you're not going to get more than that. So, if you know that you already have, so you know that you have no problem of mazon, there's no problem of food, you don't need to worry about it. Because it was already given to you. And whatever was given to you was given you from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it was given you from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's nothing to worry about, whether it's your mezonot or your parnasa or your law. It was determined. So if this is the, and by the way, we do say so in Birkat HaMazon. What do we say in Birkat HaMazon? Umechin mazon lechol briotav asher bara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to have food for you. You're not going to starve to that. So the food is already prepared. And it's already prepared from Rosh Hashanah and on. So there's nothing to worry about. But if I'm worried about it, every single moment throughout the year, what's going to be with Parnasa? What's going to be with this? What's going to be with that? So therefore the Torah tells you a very big tochecha. והיו חייך תלויים לך מנגד, ופחדת לילה ויום ולא תאמין בחייך. Every single moment of your life, you're going to worry about your life. Because you don't live life of emunah. And you're going to worry about it day, you're going to worry at night, And you're not going to believe in your life. You say, this is not life, this is misery. Why am I alive? You're going to be afraid, in a day and a night with food. And by the way, all this fear causes us problem, as you could see in the parasha. Causes us problem in terms of our emunah, and then we bring upon ourselves trouble to Am Yisrael, to ourselves. And that is, again, nothing else but choser emunah. If Am Yisrael lives in emunah, there's not going to be pur anut. We have problems because we have a problem with our emunah, and it's on a personal level, on a national level. You have to think about that. So it says, and because Iyov already says, "Vasher yagorti yavoli." As much as the person works, he plants, he waters his fields, and so on and so forth. As long as he does it with emunah, the more emunah, so there's going to be more bracha in the fruit in which he's going to harvest. If he's not going to do so with emunah, there's not going to be bracha in the food. And bracha in the food also means not only money and yielding, also means nutrients in the food. So you're going to eat and you're never going to be full. You're always going to eat. You're going to eat and you're going to be hungry. You ever eat rice cakes? More than that, the most important recommendation is that if we want our tefillot to really be mitkabel, to really be accepted, we specifically need to remove ourselves issues of materialism. You see, gashmiyut brings you down. It's like an anchor. Guys, by the way, there's sausages here. Tochal the sausage. You shouldn't daven on the tzarchei yachid, on your own thing, but on the Shekhinah, and the Malchut, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when the Kadosh Baruch Hu yeh melech al kol haaretz, mimele, all my needs are going to be supplied without me asking. Without me asking. Of course, you could see that in the act of Ma'aser. Because it's not natural for a person to give 10, 20%, 25% of his money. And yet you give it, ve'rakti lecha barachat belidai. You can't say enough. You see it. You can't live life without emunah. Maybe if you're a Gentile, but not a Jew. A Jew you can't. You have to have it. And of course, there's a great danger to us when we came to Eretz Israel. It says, why? Because it says over there, Vayishman Yeshurun Vayivat. The Jews got fat and they kicked. That's it. We don't need God. As the Gemara says, one of the best qualities for Jews is being poor. Well, always cry to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when they have, I don't need God, but I need God. I'm successful. Look at this. I buy buildings, I buy malls, I buy this, I buy that. God. It's an obstacle. I mean, instead of closing a deal, I have to be in shul for an hour. That's an obstacle. Shabbat. Listen, Rabbi, it's the busiest day of the week for me. I have to do open house. Potech yadecha. You're going to cry to me. I know many people who closed their business on Shabbat and they had Baruch Hashem Parnasah more than they had before. And they had Baracha much more than they had before. There's no way to cut corners when it comes to that. When you cut corners for that, you're telling me, I don't believe that it's from God. I don't believe it. I don't believe. Hey, do what you need to do. And that's a great danger. And comes the mitzvah of Bikurim also to be awakened the emunah and to prevent this ga'ava, this arrogance that we have, to humble the heart. So the Mekubalim tells us, it says, when we see all the produce of our work, and we say, we work for it, we sweated for it, we invested in it, it's my wisdom. My chokhmah. A person make of himself, right? You're thinking like you like to see yourself making an ad in the newspaper, right? Oh, the big guy, they pay money. They pay money to put an ad for themselves in the paper. But the Torah says no, that's not the way to go. Torah tells us you have to implant emunah in your heart. If you always want mazon, if you always want hatzlacha, there is a rule for that. There's a trick for that. Never looked at it that it was all because of you. I'm telling you, that's why I learned Musar from Rush Limbaugh. Believe it or not, Rush Limbaugh. I'm really serious. Yes, he does it for self-promotion. I told you this a million times. And the first time I heard it, I was like, what? When he says talent on a loan from God, talent on a loan from God. And I said, wow, that's tremendous Musa for me. That was, I can tell you exactly when I listened the first time. It was coming from a doctor. And it was just at the time, he signed like a $300-something million contract for 3 years. I was like, what? And he says, Rush Limbaugh, talent and a loan from God. I said, that's tremendous Musa for me. It's not me. It's not my abilities. It's the abilities that were given to me. It's the opportunities that were given to me in the grace of God. It's never me. Even if I'm the smartest, most handsome, most powerful, it's never me. Of course, I need to ask, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to me. What in the world has it seen in me? And how do I use those talents? How do I use this bracha in an appropriate manner without betraying the trust that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had awarded me with? If I, let's say, for example, have a jewelry company, big, it's like diamonds. And I said to you, Eitan, I need to go early today. Here are the keys to the office. Is the keys to the safe. Just do me a favor. Before you go, make sure everything is locked. So you're going to go there and you do what? Okay, the guy's gone. I see him going from the building. Oh, it's gone. All right, let me see what he has now. Let me open. You're going to do that? He says, no, it's give me trust. He's trusted me. I can't do that. I'm going to be super careful. I'm going to check the safe twice. What are you going to do? What are you guys going to do? That's the trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you. He gave you a talent, whatever talent that is. Each one of us has a different talent. What are you going to do with this talent? It's a deposit HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you. And you have to give it back. And you need to understand that. You really need to understand. Any success that you have is not your success, it's the success of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you need to remember this all the time. Like this, you make yourself into a cleaner pipe, a cleaner vessel to bring the bracha down. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chooses, that's an untamed guy. I like this guy. The guy is clean. The guy is clean. Even if you're an artist, or you're a plumber, or you're a musician, or I don't know what. A dentist, I don't know, whatever. It's never your success. You know, top of my class, I was the top 1% of the 1%. The 1% of the class, I was the 1%. Right? Never say that. Never think you're so great. Always thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for what you have. There are some people that can sit down in front of a piano 5,000 years, they can't play do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. And there's a guy who says, what is that? How do you dun, 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 dun. All of a sudden, he can be like Mozart. They can play until. Why him, not him? I don't know, ask God. But now you have it. Now you have to do something good with it. Never pat yourself on the shoulder. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make sure to show you that it's not you, it's him. So never go down there. Never go down that way. And of course, you have to make sure that it's going to be, you're going to be good usage with that. For example, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a sharp mind, right? So you could do something good with it to the benefit of the people. You could become a criminal. And then you pay for it as well. So after the command of Bikurim and Maaser, it says that a person says, "If Kadosh Baruch Hu Ashkifa me'on kodshecha min hashamayim uvarech et amcha Yisrael," and so on and so forth, right? And as you swore to our fathers, you gave us eretz zavat chalav v'dvash, and like you're saying, like you kind of push it into a Kadosh Baruch Hu, say it to him like this. You're kind of demanding that you should bless us. But if a person does the mitzvot and is mekayem, what it says in Sefer Vayikra, im bechukotai telechu v'tmizotai tishmoru v'asetem otam v'netlitik yishmechem beito. So Hashem looks from above and does it, but you only can say that if you did what He asked you to do beforehand. So before you come to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for something, say, for what? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, give me more money. For what? For you to go to Acapulco? For what? For you to go to Copacabana? For what? For you to go to some non-kosher restaurant? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, give me more money. What for, honey? I want to buy myself a new car and my wife a new diamond ring. She needs another Gucci bag and, Dolce Gabbana belt and, what else you got there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, your neighbor next door walks with shoes, or the same shoes already for 10 years. His wife has and you want Dolce Gabbana? Okay, I'll send you the IRS, come and visit you. You don't want to go that way. So you have to be very careful before you ask for something. You have to make your case. A, why should HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you more? B, but what He gave you this year, what have you done? You have to be very careful. Rashi says in Bechukotai telechu shetiyu amelim b'Torah rabotai. So again, it's a very difficult thing. Shetiyu amelim b'Torah. Yeah. So the rabbi says to us that there is something greater beyond the learning the Torah. There's something much greater in terms of like your life view. A person needs to live in this world in the feeling that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who gives you the ability לעשות חיים. Shum davar, nothing comes from us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu controls the world. And again, if you succeeded with your own things, the final solution, the final feeling that you have has to be this from Hashem. And I'm going to tell you this. Remember we said that everything goes from the beginning. The Bikurim. And we're going to see it. And now we're talking about Torah. Now you'll see what I'm talking about. You might not like it, but you'll see what I'm talking about. And where it says in the Torah, "V'zacharta et Hashem Elokecha, ki hu hanoten lecha la'asot chayil." He's the one who gives you the koach to do well, to do things. Unkel says, "Yav lecha etza lemikne nechsin." HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you an advice what to buy, what to sell, what to do, what to invest. Everything is done b'siyata d'shemaya. And that's why you have to get used to the internal feeling in your heart that not only the ma'aseh, even the machshava, the good machshava, comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He gives you the machshava. And you have to be thankful for that. The greatest misery of a person is when a person counts on himself alone. Because even if he succeeds, right, and then he becomes arrogant, well, look at me, I'm a big shot, is right away he's afraid that he's going to lose it. So he has to become more aggressive. He has to do things that are not so straight and honest. That's why I don't know, how can a person be a frum person and do business in a crooked way? You can't tell me you believe in God when you cheat. I'm sorry. No, listen, I'm not such a big tzaddik. I'm just telling you. It's just pure common sense. So, and we see, the very successful people in our society, they had tremendous fears. How many minutes we got?
Yeah, enough.
Okay. They have tremendous fears. They have anxieties. They have paranoia. The body, all kind of crazy things like this, right? And of course, if a person fails, right, he blames everybody, he blames himself, and so on and so forth. So the real bracha is that he's going to that it's not that we're going to have more money. The real bracha will come when we have internal fulfillment, when we would fulfill more internally full. And Amelut Batorah, Rabotai, and now you start to get ready. Amelut Batorah is when a person mekasher himself and all his life connects himself and everything in his life, every action in his life for a spiritual purpose, for learning Torah, to elevate himself b'ma'alot HaTorah. You cannot tell me anything otherwise than that. I told you, I explained to you this before. Where is that wheel? Give me the marker. Give me a marker over there. Here behind you, Yeshua. I'll do it to you again for the 5,001 time. Right? We have two wheels. Wheels of the sun keep on turning, right? That's wheel number one, wheel number two, right? Wheel number one has many parts in it. Many parts in it. Right? There's part for sport, part for family, part for Torah, part for life, part for the mistress, part for whatever. This one is a different wheel. That's a middle part. And Torah is right here in the middle. And the spokes comes from here. And everything is involved in the Torah. The Torah is untouchable. However, wheel number one, you can't put a stick inside or any kind of axle inside to get it going. You have to be smacked all around to get it going. Wheel number two, you take a piece of wood or whatever axle, you put it in, and you get movement. When you gear your life around Torah, and Torah becomes untouchable, that's the focal point of your life, and you need to explain this to your wife. That's when your life is going somewhere. But when you have many parts of your life, and Torah is just a part of your life is going nowhere. And you need to understand that before you come to Rosh Hashanah and ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for another year. Because I'll tell you, what are you doing this year? You're going to learn more. What are you going to do in this year? I gave you Torah to work in. Trabajo. In the Torah. And what are you doing? What are you doing, you lack of emunah person that you are? You abandon the Torah, you throw it away to get a job because you think you can outsmart me. You think that you can make more money with your power, with your abilities, and you threw the Torah. You're doing me a favor that you're coming to learn. I should give you another year for what? How dare you? Good thing I'm not God. Let me tell you, I will fire you all. It's like HaKadosh Baruch Hu El Rachum V'Chanun Erech Apayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet. Look at the chesed that He gives us. Look at the mercy that He has for us. And look how much we screw it up year after year after year. How many Masechtas did you finish this year? How many Mishnayot have you finished this year? How many? You can tell me how much money you made. You want it before tax, after tax, with expenses, with lease. But you cannot tell me how many the people of Gemara you learned this year. Did you finish Orach Hayim this year? I don't know, Rabbi. What do you mean you don't know? How dare you? You want bracha? For what? You have it, and you throw it away. You send me many. Ze lo me'akadosh baruch Hu. You thought you to buy yourself a car. Rabbi, I'm leasing a car. It's nothing. It doesn't make a difference, Rabotai, if you lease a car for $200, for $300, for $500, for $1,000. How dare you rent or lease a car for so much money when you have tefillin that your father bought you at the wholesale price? Like the filling the fill of the truck. You know what I'm saying? Like Z grade tefillin. He went to some Lubavitch guy, said, listen, I need tefillin for my son, I don't have tefillin, get tefillin. Yeah, sure, take tzaddik, הנה קח תפילין. הבאת לך תפילין של הרבי מלובביץ', איזה יופי, בחינם, יא קמצן. Do you have a shas at home? Needless to say, do you learn it? You buy yourself a new talit? Why do you have to come to shul, get a talit? Come get yourself a nice talit. Do you wear a tzitzit? You have a nice tzitzit? Are the string nice? No, they're not. You don't even wear it. But you need the Faragamo, you need the Givenchy, you need the Dolce Gabbana, Come a Pretty Mama, you want all these things. הכל אתם יודעים. איפה העמלות בתורה, רבותיי? אתם לא מתביישים? To spend money like משוגעים, that you know, אבל לדבר מצווה לא. סלח לי, כמה האתרוג הזה? $20. לא, תתן אותו ב5. מה תתן? $20, קח 100. איזה קמצנים. You cheap. No, you're not cheap. You fools. That's why צריך כל אדם that the center of his life is עלייה רוחנית. You need to learn musar. You must learn more. You don't learn enough. You need to do tikkun midot to fix your midot. Even if you have good midot, you need to maintain them to make sure they're good. Then you have bad midot, you got to fix them. You have to learn. You have to elevate yourself spiritually. If you were running a spiritual business, you will all go bankrupt because you don't know what your inventory is. You're increasing your debt. And that's never a good thing. At least make it worthwhile. And it's a very maybe hard for you concept to think about and so on and so forth. But that's what Bikurim is all about, Rabotai. So if we don't have Bikurim, we have Torah. Bikurim says, listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is the most beautiful fruit. I acknowledging that you made it, not me. You helped me bring the most beautiful. You have to bring the most beautiful fruit. This is your fruit. This is your land. You took me out of Mitzrayim. You brought me here. You gave me the koach. It's never me. Arami Oved Avi. I was a slave in Egypt, and you took me out of there. And this is also the same concept of Rosh Hashanah, to make HaKadosh Baruch Hu Melech. In other words, you acknowledge that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a part in everything that is in your life. Everything. Chazal tells us that the Ikar Chet of Adam HaRishon, that he hurried up to have to consummate his relationship with his wife on Erev Shabbat, before Shabbat. And Chazal tells us that if you would wait for Shabbat, there was no place for the Sitra Achara to hold on. Because of that chet, because of this lack of his willingness to hold on a little bit, we gave room for the Yetzer Hara to grab. Pay attention to this. So the Maor Veshemesh says, Matarat ha'avodah ruchanit, the purpose of spiritual work, ולהדיח מקרבנו את אותה טומאה שגורמת לנו לחמוד ולהתאבות להבלי עולם. The purpose of spiritual work is to remove from ourselves that impurity that causes us to desire all those pleasures of the world which are absolutely nonsense. To remove the materialistic desires from inside of us, and להגדיל שכלו על נפשו המתאווה, and to bring about his pure intellect on his desiring heart. מה אני צריך את זה? What do I need this? Your heart is desiring. The mind controls it. To sanctify himself במותר לו, in what you have and what is allowed to you. לבל אחר התאווה, so you won't be desired. You won't be a slave of your desires. וכל דבר אשר הוא רוצה, and anything that you want, אפילו דבר המותר, ראוי שיחיקנו. Even if something that is allowed to you, just say, you know what, I'm not having this. Why? כדי לשבר תאוותו, to break your desire. And the mitzvah of bikurim is mitzvah בפני הגבורה שימשול ברוחו. All the mitzvot all of a sudden take a different turn when you look at it like this, especially mitzvah bikurim. I have the first fruit. What's better than take the first fruit and put it in your mouth? No, you gotta wait. So therefore comes mitzvah bikurim and helps us control our desire and control us nefesh behemit, our behemic soul. And that's why we tie something to it to control our desire, to say this is not for me. That's muktzeh, that's for Hashem. And if a person does not stay in the temptation, v'sovea berov kol, he wants a lot, everything, lavish, you're falling into very thick materialistic mud. You have to be very careful. So when I tell you guys, for example, be careful with your spending. Be careful how you do things. Besides the stupidity that you work so hard and then you spend every penny you had, you did work hard. So now you're going to work harder? For what? To be in the same place because you spend it all? So besides that, you have to understand that being a big spender and throwing your money away and to be hasty and jumpy and so on and so forth is a opening to go down spiritually. And it will be very difficult for you to elevate yourself spiritually once you're in the mud. And that's what it says, תחת אשר לא עבדת אלוקיך בשמחה ובטוב לבב מרוב כל. So you had too much. Now, when we do so, our bracha goes away from our life, and by our bad actions, we break in the vessels. We're breaking the vessels of bracha that is with us. And the Kabbalah tells us, she'en or below kli. There can't be light without the vessels. There cannot be bracha if we don't appropriately get the utensil, the kli, clean for us, or ready for receive it. So I see that some of you are a little impatient. So I'm going to leave this for tomorrow, but I'm going to tell you the following. So what does bikurim have to do? Actually, I don't want to. I want to continue. I'm going to continue. So it says, let's finish. So let's look a little bit on the word. So let's look at the word bikurim. So in the last parasha, when we were talking about Isha Snua, the hated woman, and Isha Ahuva, we says, Lo yuchal levaker et ben Ahuva al pnei bnei Snua ha-bechor. You see, bechor, bikurim, and so on and so forth. It's mashma that the person should not prefer the wife, the son of the wife that he loves, over the son of the wife that he hates. Bikurim is the best part. The most refined flavor comes in the first fruit. So in order to enter the real meaning of bikurim, we have to go back to the root of it. And it says in Sefer Bereshit, we're talking about the korbanot, the Kain v'Hevel brought, and it says, "Ve'im miketz yamim v'yave Kain miprei adama mincha leHashem v'Hevel levi gam hu mibkorot sono michel behem." Again, the word bracha, you can learn a lot from on the meaning of words when they letters also when they appear the first time in the Torah. Vayosha Hashem el Hevel ve'el minchato. HaKadosh Baruch Hu preferred Hevel over Cain because he brought the Rishit Sono, which is the best part of his offspring, of his calves or whatever is over there. And there's a tremendous, and Cain brought from the leftovers. Okay, so after I finish eating, he brought whatever he brings. So there's a tremendous limud for us. Cain and Hevel are two different movements of two different entities in our soul. Cain is the part of us that does not want to give himself over or to hand himself over to Avodat HaBorei. And he brings to Avodat HaBorei the bare minimum. Give me the minimum that I need to get in. That's when Cain mitgaber in you. On the other side, we have the part of Hevel that brings the most pleasant things, the most desired things to Avodat Hashem. He's willing to give to Hashem the best. Everything. I don't care. It's for Bet HaKnesset. It's for the shul. It's for the yeshiva. I don't care. The question is, how do we do the avodah ourselves? In which part do we worship Hashem? With Idgabrut Cain, the overcoming of Cain, or heaven? Which one is up? Cain or heaven? Cain or heaven? Chazal tells us, Derachmana le'bai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants the whole entire heart. In other words, you cannot do the avodah without being ready to hand everything over, which is difficult. But what kind of an offering do you want to give to Hashem? Only what is comfortable for you? Only what is easy for you? When you have your old desires kept for yourself? Why won't you give yourself, from yourself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what is the most precious that you have? And Rabbatai, the most precious thing that you have is what? Is your time. Mitzvat Bikurim teaches us to give the most preferred part in our produce to Hashem, a Bechor, the part in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which we don't want to get rid of. Bikurim also talks about Bechorah and also the words of Bracha. You're going to have Bracha when you're going to give the best. So when you want a Bracha, you're going to give the best of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, giving you the best that I got, right? They say about Michael Jordan. You know Michael Jordan? Yes. So Michael Jordan, they used to have those boom boxes. Before every game, he used to play this song, giving you the best that I got. Maybe that's why he was Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. Yeah. That's why Michael Jordan. That's why he was Michael Jordan. Before every game, he would play this song. Now I'm going to tell you this, Rabotai. You want Baruch in your life? Don't wait to come to learn in Yeshiva or learn Torah. We're going to be retired, all smelly with like rotten teeth and bow legs. Why don't you give HaKadosh Baruch Hu the best years of your life? When you're young, your bikurim, your offspring, the best time of your life, when you have the koach, the ability to give, to move mountains. Why are you letting Cain overcome you? You think HaKadosh Baruch Hu the bare minimum. You think it's going to do it with an hour a day? You gotta be kidding me. You have a brain to be a doctor? You have the brains to be a businessman? You tell me you don't have the brains to be a Talmid Chacham? Who are you fooling? Give me the best. Give me the best now because you're young. That's how it is. Amelim b'Torah. Get used to it when you're young to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through emunah, with joy, not with fear. What are you afraid of? Hayad Hashem tiktzar? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is incapable? Give me the best years of your life. After that, go work. Go work later on. Best years of your life now. And you should tell this to your wives as well. And straighten them up a little bit. Honey, you don't need a diamond ring. And it's a job that we both do together for the best thing, for the best for our kids. And the best for our kids is that I would be the best example. Because if you're not learning, your kids for sure are not going to learn, regardless of how much you try. Look at the attitude that you're teaching your kid to give to Hashem. You want to understand what is a decline of generation. That is the decline of generation. Every generation does less. That's why it says, "Hizaru bebnei aniyim shemehem titzei Torah." Be careful from the poor people, because from them you're going to have the Torah. Aniyim begashmiyut and aniyim beruchniut. The future of Am Yisrael is in Baalei Tshuva, Rabotai. Not in you. Because you gave up your future. You gave up your future. You indulge in materialistic gain. You're talking to me about Geulah. You're talking to me about